Hello, beautiful human. Thanks for clicking on our conversation with Mike Posner. We have a lot to discuss: music, Mt Everest, his walk across America. He's an incredible human being and an outstanding artist. Please leave your honest feedback in the comment section below, hit like, and subscribe. And there's a link to a GoFundMe link in the description below. Click it. Okay, Mike Posner, here we go.
Let's do this. Zach Show.
Hello, beautiful human. Dan's here, and we welcome back to the show, Mike Posner. Hello.
What's up, Zach? What's up, Dan?
Yo.
I cannot, thank you for giving us your time and energy today, because what you've been preparing for takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of focus, correct?
Yeah, I've basically been doing it full time. I'm crazy, man. I've kind of figured out that if I focus on one thing at a time, I can really accomplish that thing or get that thing I'm working towards. I'm not so good at balance, It's probably something I got to work on, but I finished walking across America about 18 months ago, and I started training to climb Mt Everest basically 2 weeks after that. And I waited until now to announce it because I wanted to raise money for a good cause and was lining up some sponsors, and we can talk about that. And that took a lot longer than I thought it would. So I've kind of been training in secret, if you will, for the last year and a half, and feels good to finally today, tell everyone what I've been up to.
Congratulations. I really want to understand what it takes to physically prepare for a feat like this, but it really does start with your walk across America that starts in Asbury Park. And I mean, I remember the first footage of you embarking on that journey, and then the last piece of footage of you running into the ocean.
Yeah.
You talked about not losing a year of your life in that walk, but actually gaining a year.
Yeah, taking a year back.
Yeah, can you explain that to me? Like, what does that mean? How did that give you a year?
I was somebody who felt in some ways trapped under the weight of my own life, like the life I'd created for myself. But in essence, I was living the life I created when I was 22 and I was 32, at the time, or I was 31, I think. And I would basically make an album, go on tour, talk about myself, make another album, go on tour, talk about myself, ad infinitum. And it was, I felt like I was playing in this little sandbox in West Hollywood, in this little bubble. And I just had this feeling like there's something more inside me. There's something more out there for me. And I had this dream of walking across America, and I put it off, Zach, for like 5 years. Because the walk, strategically, you're supposed to start it in spring. And ideally, you finish in fall, so you miss winter. That's the idea. And every spring, someone would get in the way. I always had a reason why I couldn't do it that year.
And was it work-related usually? Like music stuff? Or
Yeah. There's always something, and then you just realize that these reasons aren't actually reasons. They're excuses, wearing pretty clothes, like excuses masquerading as reasons. And, like Avicii died and Mac Miller died, and I just realized, man, one day I'm going to die too, hopefully not anytime soon, but who knows? So I need to live my life before I die, and whatever chapters I want in the story of my life, I need to put them in there now. I can't keep waiting for, a lot of us have like a list of things we got to do. And when we finish that list, we'll do the things we actually want to do or we feel called to do. And this is kind of a BS way to live. It's like a life of waiting. And I had to get out of that. I had to get out of that sandbox. I had to get off of that hamster wheel, and I had to walk. And it changed my life, man, because I didn't even know this was on the menu. You understand? Like, I didn't know I could climb and do all this stuff I'm doing now until I did that walk. And it just obliterated this box I had put myself in. I didn't even know I was in it. I thought that was life. I thought that was life. And I did the walk, and it was like, kablooey. Life is way bigger. You are way bigger. You're capable of way, way more.
Well, that's it. Because
Yeah.
you went against everything that humans defy. Like you defied logic in a sense. You walked across the country. Nobody walks across the country. And in doing that, you meet and you come in contact with communities and people that you, I'm sure, would have never in your travels have been subjected to that, correct?
Every day. You know, I'm a city boy. I was born in Detroit, and I've lived my entire life either in a city or in a suburb of a city until this last year. But while I was on the walk, you know, the walk is no matter how you like route your walk across America, it's 99% rural. It's 99% not in the city. And so I mean, I just saw like different type of tractors and shit. I was like, bro, I've never seen that ever before. Like, what is that thing, bro? They're like, that's the thing that puts the fertilizer down, or that's the thing that plants it, you know. And people just have a much different way of life, you know, outside of cities. And in some ways, it's more beautiful and grounded and better, and you know, these things. So yeah, I mean, every day. I mean, there's no other time I was gonna walk through Blairsville, Pennsylvania. Like, you and I, we live here. You know, we spend a lot of time in LA. I think you're in LA still. None of our friends know Blairsville, Pennsylvania, and no one they know knows. Like, you would never end up there. And it was every day was like that. Whether it was the walking across the Navajo Nation, it was, yeah, you just saw things you thought, wow.
You really defy what you think you are capable of. And after you accomplish this incredible feat, is there an instant want for more? I mean, yes, because you said you wanted to do Mount Everest, but what is fueling your want to accomplish this? I mean, the toughest climb of all climbs, correct?
No, that's incredible. I'm gonna answer your question, but
Yeah, please.
Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world, but it's not even close to the hardest climb.
Okay.
And you know, me climbing Mount Everest in the mountaineering community, it means absolutely nothing. It's not even a footnote in the history of great mountaineering feats. But in my life, it's a accomplishment. It means something to me because I know I basically didn't know anything a year and a half ago. So yeah, there's much harder mountains than Mount Everest, and a lot that I would never actually climb because they're too dangerous for me.
But
in my personal,
isn't K2 considered the hardest mountain to climb?
it's definitely up there of like the 8,000 meter peaks, you know, and that's one I wouldn't go near. Honestly, it's, you know, I have a line of, you know, what's acceptable risk for me, and K2's on the other side of that line. Everest is on this side of that line for me. And it's different for everybody, you know, and it can move, but that's where I'm at today.
It still takes 18 months for your body to get into shape enough to conquer this thing, right? I mean, like you are downplaying it, but like to a mere plebe like myself, like just a mere commoner, like Mount Everest, like even from a movie perspective, it's like everybody sees it as like culture sees it as like the thing. Like, I don't know this K2, you know?
Yeah, because it's the tallest one. That's the thing, because it's the tallest one. So
it's badass, dude.
I'm not downplaying. You know, for me, it means a lot for me because I, you know, like I said, I start from nothing. But I'm just, you know, out of respect to guys that do this for their life, you know, I don't want to come on your show and act like, you know, I'm the best climber in the world because I'm not even freaking close, you know, and I'm going up there with my coach and I'll be climbing with the Sherpa, who I think will be Dawa Chiri Sherpa. And without those guys, I wouldn't even have a chance.
And one of those guys is Dr. John, right?
Yeah, Dr. John, my coach.
You do this together. It's going to be the three of you. How long will it take?
And then there'll be an additional Sherpa with John as well. So it'll be 4 of us. I don't know if we know who that person is yet. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's such a John has become like a brother to me, you know. After the last year and a half I basically moved like down the street from him. We were training a lot. I said, dude, can I just like come here and live? And he was like, yeah. So we've spent an absurd amount of time on mountains together the last year and a half, and he's taken me and shared some of the most beautiful places in the world. Like, you get up there, Zach, sometimes and you're just like, dude, I shouldn't even be allowed to see this. You know what I mean? Like, if you were to take a drug and see what it looks like, you'd be like, that was the best drug ever. But it's just there. It's like God made it, or reality made it that for you. And like, yeah, I just feel so blessed, man. So blessed. You know, we've climbed to Ecuador twice. I've been to Pakistan with him and Mexico, and it's amazing, bro.
You've done 40 different peaks. And what do you scream when you're at the top of it? Is it something different every time? Or is it the same
I
thing?
learned it from John. I don't know where this comes from, but definitely it's like a tradition for me. But we always go, summit! Say summit. Summit!
The views that you've shot and you've shared from these climbs, they look absolutely extraordinary. And you've described it the right way. I mean, like you couldn't even take a drug and imagine this beauty that is
you
just...
get up there sometimes. To see on the higher one, like the highest ones I've done are in Ecuador, these volcanoes, and you got 19,000 feet, 20,000 feet, and you get up there, Zach, and you're above the clouds. You know, like it'll maybe be a cloudy day, and you're looking down on like in the plane. You know, you couldn't go.
Yeah.
It's sometimes like there'll be a thunderstorm or something. It's below you, and you're just looking down on it. Like, it's wild, and it's an amazing feeling, and yeah, I feel really grateful and blessed for sure, man.
Mike, can you talk about the training that you've been doing for the past few months to prepare to climb this mountain?
Sure. So I basically, I finished my walk October 18th, 2019. I think November 1st, or maybe it was November 3rd. I can't remember. So about 2 weeks later, I climbed Mount Hood with my friend Colin O'Brady, and then he introduced me to Dr. John. And John has a great quote. He says, train for climbing mountains by climbing mountains. So we do a lot of climbing mountains. We've climbed a lot in Colorado, in Wyoming, in California, like I said, Ecuador, Mexico. And he went to Pakistan. I went with him there. And in between that, we're doing the things you'd imagine, like strength training and cardio and that kind of stuff. But a lot of just in the field, man, getting high. We say, get high, get cold, get worked. One of our sayings, And yeah.
So the best way to like get your body used to elevation is just by subjecting it to elevation.
Yes, thoughtfully. You don't just go from 0 to 100. So, everything that John has, he's like my boss. He's like my boss. Like, people be like, hey, are you free in 2 weeks? I'm like, I gotta ask coach.
Awesome.
I don't know. So like he's been in control of my schedule and my life, for the last year and a half. And I do other things, but it's like he fills up my calendar first, then I do other stuff in between, And so it's just been a really gradual addition of difficulty and skills. We went from like, you do a hard climb, maybe it's 12 hours or 18 hours long. And then like I started noticing we're doing 2 of those, like 2 in a row. And then like it'd be 3 in a row. And so it's just
gradual. Yeah.
I look back at like, where I am now from where I started. I'm pretty proud for sure.
Do you feel like you're ready?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't go. I mean, I've never been there, so I couldn't know for sure firsthand, but I trust Jon literally with my life. And when we started, I said, look, bro, I have no interest in going there if I don't belong. And I still don't. I still have no interest in going there if I don't belong. So when he tells me I'm ready, I believe I'm ready. And so, we're just going to go there the same way we climb every mountain. We're conservative and go to have fun, but we go to stay safe. And so the mountain is not going anywhere. If something isn't right, the weather turns bad, or you don't feel right with the altitude or something, you just turn around and you can come back next year. You can try again. And so I've done that before on training mountains. Sometimes you just don't make it, but the most important thing is you stay safe, you stay alive. It's a little different than like running or playing basketball. I love basketball. Like you could push through, if you feel pain wherever, but if
but
you
this
do
you
that,
cannot.
yeah, you can lose your life, being silly like that. So that's what we're gonna go have fun, man. I get to go to Nepal with my boy, Dr. Jon, and Colin will be there too. And I'm excited for all the people I'm gonna meet, and I'm just going to have fun, and stay safe, and that's it.
Well, Mike, I want to ask if you've talked to Dr. Jon or any of the Sherpas about that last 2,000 feet. I know it's called the death zone because of how little oxygen there is up there. Have you had a conversation with any of those guys about that last leg of the climb?
Yeah, sure. We talk about it a lot. I'll be climbing with supplemental oxygen for sure. But Jon basically said it feels like climbing like you got kicked in the balls or something like that. He said it doesn't feel great, but that's why we put in the work that we have, So I mean, no matter how much you train, you go and climb an 8,000 meter peak, it's gonna be hard,
Especially with that giant backpack on with all the oxygen tanks, right? Like, how much does that weigh?
I think the tanks are about 10 pounds each, so maybe I have one or two of those. So it's not too bad. And on summit day, because you're just going to the summit, you're not obviously camping on the summit. So all the days before, you have to carry your sleeping bag. No, you don't need that. So all you need is the oxygen, water, and some snacks. So the bag won't be too bad. Definitely carry some heavier bags this summer and stuff.
But that's what it's about, right? Like, you've subjected yourself to just different varying degrees of all of this in preparation. And you're doing it for such an incredible cause. I mean, you're doing it for the Detroit Justice Center. Talk about an organization that gives so much to the community that gave you so much. And I'm not going to lie, I watched the CBS piece, dude, and I started to swell up. I had no idea that your dad did work for them as well. I mean, there's so much fuel here, and it's really remarkable. It's very, very special.
Thanks, man. Yeah, my walk was really, like we talked about me, but I wanted my climb. I figured if I could do some good with it, I should. And my dad, rest his soul, he passed 4 years ago. He was a criminal defense attorney in Detroit. He didn't work with the Detroit Justice Center. I'm not sure how long they've been around, but I think it's in the 5-6 year range, I think. So he didn't work directly with them, but the work they do is like just amazing. They work on criminal justice reform, transforming the justice system in Detroit, creating economic opportunities, and trying to make more equitable and just cities. And I'm from Detroit, so it was a cause that, like, if I wasn't doing this and I just saw it, I'd definitely like donate money to them anyways, because I think they're incredible. And but given what my dad did, it was a way for me to simultaneously honor him. So for anyone listening, your listeners or watchers, you can go to gofundme.com/Everest or MikePosner.com, and it'll just pop you up. It just redirects you to the GoFundMe. And so I need your help. I'm definitely going to put some my money into it, but we can do a lot more together. So yeah, if you're listening, take a second, go to that website, gofundme.com/Everest, and donate $1, $5, $50, $100, $1,000, whatever you can. Appreciate it. If it's nothing, just share the link. I appreciate that too.
Anything goes a long way. And there's going to be a link in the description below too. And please give. I mean, this an incredible cause, but an incredible journey. Yeah, it's, dude, this whole thing is really remarkable. It is a feat. It is a moment. It's a life-changing mission, so to speak, right?
Let's go.
It's cool.
Mike, after the snake bite that you got, was there any thought in your head like, I shouldn't keep Was there any thought like, well, I know you said in your video that you almost lost your leg, you almost, like, you were close to death. Was there any thought that maybe I shouldn't keep going, or was it always like, I'm finishing this no matter what?
I never thought about quitting. Well, that's not true. I thought about quitting before I left. So this is a hack I got from David Goggins. David Goggins, he said, everybody likes to visualize. And it's important to, like, wrap your head around yourself being successful. And that's important. He goes, but no one likes to visualize when it goes wrong. And I don't care how, like, aligned you think you are with the universe or how strong your vision board is. You walk 2,851 miles, something will go wrong. Mm-hmm. Something will go wrong. So what I learned from Goggins was you have to visualize what you're going to do when something goes wrong. So I had gone through this exercise in my notebook before I left. I thought, what happens if I break my leg, like twist my ankle, or what if I break my knee or something like that? And I just decided and visualized and went through it. If that ever happened, I would heal and I would go to the spot where it happened and I would finish. So when the snake bite happened, I didn't have to go through that. Should I quit all that? I had already done that. And it was, at that point, it was just heal and go finish what you started. And actually the hardest part of snake bite wasn't getting bit by the snake. Actually, it was like kind of nice because, dude, it was like 1,000,000 degrees outside and you're walking alone like all day, and you get bit by a snake, all of a sudden you're in like a nice bed in the air conditioning in the hospital, and there's people to talk to and nurses and doctors, all this stuff. And so that wasn't the hard part. I mean, it hurt, but the hard part was actually when I got better. So I was hospital 5 days, and I went home for about 2 more weeks. And everyone's taking care of you. Everyone's writing you on Instagram, and everyone's like making food for you, all this stuff. And then you sort of realize, like, hey, dude, like, your leg is better. Your leg's better. You gotta go. You have to turn away from this cushy, like, sympathy cocoon that you're in and go back to the hell, back to the grind on that scary road where there's no shoulder and there's rattlesnakes and cars are almost hitting you and your feet hurt. You have to go back to that, and you have to make a decision to go back to that willingly. That was the hardest part of the snake bite. It wasn't the snake bite. It was getting better and having to go back, finish.
Your life would be different if you didn't go back and finish, right?
You'd be a quitter. Who say quitters never win and winners never quit?
Amen.
Amen, right? I don't know who said that, but it's dope.
By the way, we haven't talked music in this conversation, which is cool, actually, to be honest with you. And even though your whole life is documented through the records you've put out there, and if you really want to get to know you, you listen. I heard you mention a notebook. Is it still a green notebook that you have with you?
I changed the colors. I gotta fill those things up. I like these, like, college ruled, so they're white and they're like 70 or 100 pages. So I fill those things up.
But for a long time, you've been using the college rule. I remember, right?
Yeah, same one. They have a certain feel to it. It's like a certain brand I like. The one I just filled one up. It was purple, and I just bought one today. I think I got a blue one or something. I was looking at them.
Sick.
But it's the same kind,
What does it feel when you go through a notebook? Is it like, do you feel like I completed this, or like, is it refreshing to open a fresh one?
I don't feel much when I finish one, except for a new one. But I'm kind of like, damn, I want to write and there's no space. But but when you get the new one, it's I feel like it does feel like that you're just creating from nothing. There's nothing in it. So that first page is kind of fun. You just you can in some ways like you're like a snake shedding its skin. You're just starting over in some ways, like getting a haircut or something.
It's cool. Um, is it wild to think that to witness like what do you think of music today, dude? Like Please Don't Go is a timeless record. You have many timeless records under your belt. That's just the truth. But like any part of you surprised that TikTok has like eaten this song and then like made it into a whole new thing?
Of course, man. You can't predict that stuff. You're surprised for sure, man. Like it's ridiculous. But my uncle told me, he said, you just do the work. You just do the work. So all I could control is I show up. And if I'm making music, I try to make the most beautiful music I possibly can. And some of my favorite things I've made, like I think my most beautiful album maybe is A Real Good Kid. It doesn't have any hit songs on it. It doesn't have like billions and millions of streams or whatever, but you just do the work. And then for whatever reason in my life, every once in a while, like one of my songs gets really popular and it's never one I expect. It's always a surprise, and I just am grateful for it when it happens because then it pays for my climbing habits.
Well, when you think about a real good kid, like is that a project that you made for yourself? Did you think about other people when you were crafting that, or
They're all for myself. I'm just trying to make the music the way I hear it. And so people ask me, like, do you listen to yourself? It's like, yes. Are you kidding me? Like, I tailor make the music the way I want music to be. So like I probably love my music more than anybody. Like more than my biggest fans. I probably love it even more. So I'm always just doing it for me and like what lights me up. And what Alan Watts said, like you don't dance to get to a certain spot on the floor. It's the same thing with music. I'm not making it to get attention or like elicit a emotional reaction out of certain people. I'm just doing it to do it. I love it, and I love the process of it. Like the process of making it is the high point. Stuff that comes after can be nice. Sometimes people like it, sometimes people hate it, sometimes you make money from it. That's certainly nice when it happens, but the reason I do it is because I love it. And I did it. I started when I was 8, and I'm 33 now, so that's 25 years. And it's about the first 12 and a half years made no money.
yeah,
Like, and didn't ever think about me, just loved it. And now the second 12 and a half years has been my career. But if I ever stopped making money, I would still do it. You know what I mean? Just like I did at the beginning.
because it's so much more than money, right? Is that fair to say? It's who you are as a being. It's a part of you. Like it's a limb.
Yeah, it's a gift. That's really what it is. We all have gifts, I'm pretty shitty at a lot of things, probably most things. I like to think I'm pretty good at music, and it just brings so much life to my life. It brings so much color to my life, So yeah, it's I think I always will make music for sure.
Do you ever blend the worlds of music and climbing? Like when you're going to Nepal, will you be writing there too, or is the main focus solely on the climb?
Yeah, will a notebook come with you?
Yeah, notebook will come, but it's so much deeper than people will ever know. So when you're a writer or artist with a capital A, you're looking for the truth. You're trying to find the truth in your work and share it with others. And when you change as a human or you grow as a human, you write from that perspective. Quincy Jones said, the deeper the human you are, the deeper the musician you are. That's true. But like, one of the reasons I want to go to top of Mount Everest, I want to hear what it sounds like. I want to hear what it sounds like. And, you know, when I'm walking across America, I'm listening and I'm recording too. I'm recording like when I'm on a climb in the spring and the streams are just starting to thaw out and the water is hitting up against the ice under, you know, that's still melting. You know, I'll record that. And when I'm on my walk, I'm recording, you know, the birds in New Jersey. They sound different than the birds in Illinois. And these are often become layers in the art, the music that I make. And sometimes they're really low in the mix. Sometimes they're even inaudible in the mix, but they're there. And so it's so much deeper than a pop song. You know, like there's layers in my stuff that I have to live out these wild experiences to even get to even know what that sounds like. And I make music from that new place.
Wow. I mean, that's exciting for you, for the two to be connected, but also for it to, it's not new meaning to art, but like to do it, I don't know, to do it differently, because I'm assuming you haven't always been making music in that fashion, right? Where you're, you know, layering just nature sounds or
Yes and no, it was different things. Like
Yeah.
I remember being in high school and I had like kind of what's the word? Like taken over, you know, the family computer and had my little recording software in there. And you know, like mom starts yelling at me or dad is giving me a lecture about something and just hitting record and they don't know, you know, they don't know they're being recorded, but like using things like that. So you know, where I am and my journey has changed, but I'm always kind of capturing things like that.
Well, I was wondering, since you're at such a different point in your life than when Please Don't Go came out, you ever think about what would happen if you and Benny Blanco like went back to a dorm room for a month and just spent a lot of time there? Like, what would come out of that?
Oh, Benny Blanco, a pretty famous guy now. I don't know if he could budget a month for me to goof around. But
Get out
I
of
worked
town.
with Benny. I guess it was like a year ago now. But Benny, you know, was somebody who heard my music when I was still in college, and he's been my friend for 11, 12 years now. So I hope we can make some more music again. We'll see.
Mike Posner, I can't thank you enough for giving us time and energy today. We've covered a lot here, but also I ask everybody to go back and listen to Mike's music with a different ear now, knowing that those layers exist and knowing that those layers are so reflective to where you're at in that moment in life is really incredible. And I'm excited to see what comes from this climb in terms of art. Yeah, really, really, really exciting. But I gotta ask, like, as you sit here today, what do you want to be remembered for? And do you think what you want to be remembered for today will change after you accomplish this feat?
Remember is a funny word because music works in a mysterious way. And I suppose literature is the same, but I can write about what it's like for me to be Mike Posner right now. And someone who maybe isn't even born yet could hear it in 20 years in their right now. So when they're hearing it, it's also right now for them. And if I do a good job, I'll hit upon something in what it's like to be Mike Posner that is hard to articulate, that person in the future will go, that's what it's like to be me. And I never knew how to say it. And no one ever gets it. But that's it. He said it. Or the chord, you know, the music said it. And we've all had experiences like that, Zach. I'm sure you've had experiences like that with certain artists or, you know, paintings on the wall or books you read.
With your
art. Yeah, so my life, you know, hopefully does that. You know, my life will hopefully make some human now or in the future feel less alone and feel like, oh, yeah, that's what it's like to be me too. And that goes for my music, but also these projects as well, you know. And so I feel like like the Walk Across America was an album also, and the Climb is an album also, and they're all little pieces, they're all chapters, but when you put them all together, hopefully that arc will be really like the most beautiful piece, and yeah, man, that's it.
Well, Mike, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but do you ever think about what your next accomplishment you want to do after this is, or do you not think that far ahead?
Of course, I think about it all the time. I'm a planner. My friends make fun of me, you know. It might seem like I'm not, because I'm like doing these things that are kind of, they're always a left from what like the normal way would be to go, but the left is always like very planned out and researched ad nauseum. So yeah, I've thought about it a lot, but really the only thing I have planned is I'm going to, when I get home this summer, I'm going to Monastery for 2 or 3 weeks, depending when we get back. And there's this cool monastery in Colorado where they allow you to do private retreats. And basically that means like they have the big monastery, and then up on the mountain, like there's a cabin, and they drive you up there and they just leave you. There's just a cabin there with, you know, no running water, no phones, no electricity, nothing, you know. It's like an outhouse, and I've been there a couple times, and so I'm going to go back. I just need to stop. I need to stop for a second, because I did my walk, and, you know, God willing, I will be able to do this climb. And I just need to stop and think about that, you know. But I need to, when I think about it, I need not to be doing anything else, like not being productive. It's really hard to do nothing, it turns out.
When you do nothing, you seem to heal and repair, right?
Yeah, man. Like we could do a whole podcast about going to this monastery, because I've done it 2 times before, and it's insane. You know, the first time I went for a week, you just don't see another person. People always ask, "Is it a silent retreat?" I'm like, dude, you could do whatever you want, but there's no one there to talk to.
So
like,
it
you're
is
alone.
silent. Yeah.
You're alone. It's it's solitude, you know. And the second time it was 2 weeks, so it's really a trip. You never knew how long a day was, man, till you're just there, watching the sun go across the sky.
When you said I might do Everest, you never know, back in 2019 on Prince Hakeem, did you already know back then you were doing it?
Joking, dude.
Really?
I was joking. Like I didn't really realize I could do this until I did the walk. And I made Prince Hakeem right before the walk, and I released it while I was on the walk. But the walk was like wow, oh, like when you finished, there was no feeling of accomplishment. Like I'm still on it. It was just a feeling. It was like opening the new notebook. It's like, wow, like what could I do now? It was a feeling of wonder and excitement, inspiration, but not achievement. And so, yeah, the walk made that feel like it really. When I got bit by a snake, and then I got to the Rocky Mountains. I went up and over the Rocky Mountains. I felt invincible. Like, man, if that couldn't stop me, nothing can stop me. You know, I can do anything.
And the last question I had is, does like space travel interest you? I feel like I'm going to see in 6 years Mike Posner, first celebrity to go to space.
More than anything, dude. I'm not rich enough to afford these freaking tickets. So
TikTok, please don't go a little bit more.
Aren't these tickets like $50 million or something crazy? No, I can't afford that, dude. I'm not even close. I'm not even close. But yeah, more than anything, since I was a little kid, I thought, man, to go to space, look back at Earth, you know,
Yeah.
where borderlines disappear, and as Bono said, cities connect, you know, like what could be cooler than that? I want to, like, if you wrap up all my musical goals and my walk and my climb, all that stuff, I want to go to space more than all those put together.
Wow.
Yeah,
Even if you don't come back.
No.
Oh.
You can't just add that on.
What? What? I mean,
you're going to die.
Well,
No, but the concept is like, I guess people do go up and then come back. Yes. Yeah. It's,
Most people, dude, unless something bad happens.
well, there's a risk in anything. And a
That's
question,
always the goal.
we've talked about it before. Like, if there is a opportunity for you to go, but there obviously is the risk that you don't return. Like, do you take that risk to be one of the people that go to the moon or one of the first people to land on Mars? And I would say, yeah, I think that's an incredible thing to be able to do.
It'd be pretty cool. For me, it would be a no. But maybe if I was a little older and I didn't have that as much time on Earth, then I might change to a yes.
well, right now you're
Imagine
conquering.
you finish, you're like retiring, and you're like, you know what? I don't really want to sit around, so I'm just gonna like send
Mars.
it.
And imagine those sounds you could record up there.
Yeah,
Like, the sounds on the top of Everest are cool, but the sounds on Mars are even cooler.
we'll see, bro. There's a mountain on Mars. I think it's called Olympus Mons. So Mount Everest is 29,035 feet tall, I think.
Yeah.
Olympus Mons is 70,000 feet, I think.
Yeah. It's
That's
the
crazy.
tallest mountain in our universe.
Is that right?
I believe
That's
so,
here?
yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
wild.
We got to set goals, right?
That's Zach.
Slow and steady wins the race.
That's for you, Zach. Zach, 2028, Olympus Mons.
Yeah, I'll see you up there, dude. Mike Posner, you're an incredible human being. Please, GoFundMe link in the description below.
Please.
Give money to the Detroit Justice Center, and in turn, you are helping bring just awareness, but also just funds to an incredible organization. And also, this climb is really just an amazing feat, and I have so much respect and appreciation for you as a human being, as an artist, and now like as an explorer and as a what is the title? A mountaineer? Is that
They say mountaineer or alpinist, either
an
one.
alpinist? Oh, an alpinist, an honor, sir, an honor.
Novice alpinist.
Uh,
Dr. John's mountaineer in residence.
Dr. John's a badass. He has a new Instagram follower in me. Also, put a link to his Instagram down in the description below. Shout out to Dr. John. And big thank you to you, Mike Posner. You've been doing. You gave me my first interview with you like 11 years ago, and you have been doing charity work ever since. And I can't thank you enough for coming on my show always. And I love you with everything. I mean, yeah, your music has changed my life for the better. So thank you for existing.
Yeah, I remember that day. That was Warped Tour, right?
Dude, Bamboozle.
Bamboozle. New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Zach interviewed me. Well, I mean, we talk about this every interview, but I'm sure you have people listening to you that weren't listening to you last time I was here.
Truth.
But yeah, Zach interviewed. How old were you? Like 14?
Yeah, I was a fetus. And
You were young, dude. This dude comes up, he interviews me like in a parking lot. Remember we like went between two trucks or something. It was all loud and stuff. And you're like, yeah, this guy he has a huge radio show. He started it when he was 4, you know.
But you remember the
And he
trucks.
was just great, dude. You just had great, like, you know, I was doing 100 interviews that day, and they all suck. And then like, it was just so refreshing to talk to you, and it still is, buddy. So thank you.
I can't thank you enough, and love and appreciation for you, and safe journey. Everything's gonna be amazing. I'm very excited for you, and yeah, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Peace.
Can you come back on when you're back? We want to talk to you about how the climb was.
And then we'll talk after the retreat too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, silence first. Silence comes first.
I'm gonna be like, be a quiet interview.
Just you talk with your eyes only. Yeah. Dude, peace and love to you. Have an amazing day.
All right, boys. Bye.
Later.
Bye. Hey, beautiful human, thanks for watching our full interview, but I get it. Like, a full interview is a lot. So we got a clips channel. We don't expect you to watch the full thing anymore, so we just gave you the highlights. Please subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I love you.